Hello everyone, and welcome to another edition of Music of the Week. Got about 6 albums for this one, so yeah, really not going to meander around. 6 albums to do, let's try and get through them quick, shall we? First off, starting with one that was sort of requested by a friend. I was hesitant to add it to this particular sort of episode, I guess you could say, but I did listen to it. Billie Eilish with her second album, Happier Than Ever. Now, I sort of missed her first one, and I get that there's like a lot of hype around her. I just realised there's some hair in my eye. And, you know what, I do sort of regret, like, not exactly hating her, but sort of like, you know, like the cool thing, me no likey. But I actually enjoyed this album a lot more than I thought. I'm giving it an A-. The A- reason is because it is a bit long, and some of the songs just feel like they repeat themselves a lot, but there's really good lyrical themes. Billie herself is a really good singer and performer, solid songwriter too, and obviously it's a really good sophomore album too, because it takes advantage of the fact that she got really successful, and she's still young. She's not even 20 yet, which fucking sickens me, by the way. But yeah, extremely talented songwriter, really good production on it too, really solid. It does lack some bits of consistency, but still really good, and I'd highly recommend giving it a go if you have your doubts about Billie, because I know I did, but yeah, it was really good to go over her stuff, so I wound up getting a lot more out of this. I don't know if it'll be in my top 10 of the year, but still, it was a lot better than I thought it was going to be, so maybe give it a shot yourself. Next up, though, in contrast, we have an artist I'm very familiar with and very, very fond of, Chunk, no Captain Chunk, with their first album in 6 years. I think it's their 4th album overall. Gone Are the Good Days, and I don't think the good days are gone. I'm giving this album an A right out the gate. Loved this. Loved this, loved this. Now, I've seen a lot of like professional reviews say that, you know, because the band has been away for about 6 years, the overall style of this album doesn't really keep with the times. So I'm like, no, I like the throwback style. It's a good, happy style pop punk, really good easycore as well, really good heavy bits to it too. It's basically the album that I think A Day to Remember wanted to make, but way fucking better. Yeah, no, really, really good though. Really enjoyed the lyrical themes. It is a bit like of a basic thing, but I just like Chunk. I think they're a great band, and you know, it's really nice to hear some talent from France. They are from France, in Paris. I think that's specifically where they're from, at least. And yeah, really enjoyed a lot of the instrumental work to this one. There were some nice solos, which was really, really cool. They even have some really good technical guitar work too, which I was not expecting. But so they have evolved. They're just, you know, doing it in their way. And I think that's the best we can ask of them. But yeah, absolutely find this album out for yourself. I adore it. Next up, we go to a very new act. Nottingham, England's The 500, there we go, with their second album, World on Fire. I'm for some reason saying A World on Fire just makes me very tempted to do that thing that Bo Burnham did and just jam on a keyboard and scream. But yeah, it's just where my mind takes me. But really enjoyed this album. Pretty good metalcore, you know, really nice usage of guitar work. I'm giving this album overall a B+. I think it is like fairly standard, but you know, it is early in their career, and it's really good for being early in their career too. They do have like a growth and maturity to them that I was actually quite surprised by. And initially at first I wasn't super keen on this album, but then, you know, the more I got into it, the more I found myself actually quite enjoying it. Really good lyrical themes as well. I like the more sort of like emotional take on the genre. As I always do, I like emotion in my music. Just really good. Fully nice bangers too. Really, really well paced out. Solid production as well. Like, it's put together quite nicely for an album that's still this early on. So, and also British talent, gotta represent. It's good. So yeah, maybe give this one a try. Actually, I really enjoyed this one. I thought it was really good. So yeah, I got more out of it than I was expecting. Next up, we go to sort of a unique one. King Woman with their second album, Celestial Blues. Now, King Woman is actually one of many projects by an American singer named Christina, and I've got the name here, Esfandiari. And this is her second album with King Woman, and this project, and surprisingly creeping doom rock, grunge, alternative metal sort of stuff, and hell, I liked it. I'm giving it a B+. Like with most sort of female-fronted rock, it does talk about the typical stuff of, you know, the misogyny and sexism, but this one actually had a nice layer to that with like sort of really doomy undertones and a lot of gloom, but like not misplaced gloom. It's got a very consistent tone. Chris herself is an amazing singer. She's got a really sort of low register to her voice, which you don't expect in the genre, but I really enjoyed it, and there are other band members, I'm sure, and they did a really good job too. The production really helps with this, I think. It's just a really nicely put together album, so hence the B+. I liked this, again, much more than I thought I was going to. It's not that I was expecting to hate it or anything, but, you know, when you look for stuff to add on, this was basically the album that I was like, alright, I need stuff to add, I'll just have this, I don't know what I'm getting into. It might be good, it might be bad, but no, thankfully it's really, really good, and again, it could be worth your time, you know, if you're... and she's got a lot of other projects too. I should probably give some of those a listen. So, you know, at least it's got me interested in those, especially if they sound anything like this, and, well, I hope they don't, because I do want them to be a bit different, but as far as a gateway into getting into Chris and a style of singing and a style of music, I think this was a good place for me to start, and it might be a good place for others to start too. Next up we go to only the second band in today's episode to not be from a traditionally English-speaking country, Praise the Plague with their second album, The Obsidian Gate. Now, they've been around for about 4 years, so they've gotten a lot done quite quick. In fact, the only year they didn't release anything was in 2017, and this is album 2, and I pretty solidly enjoyed it, you know, really good blackened, doomy, sludgy, feely metal. I'm giving it a B. Now, I've been listening to a lot of black metal this year, and most of it's been good, and this is no exception. I do have a problem with the structuring, though, because there's only 6 songs, but they had to find a way to stretch it to 43 minutes, so there's like a couple of songs that are over 9 minutes long. It is a bit of a piss take, a tiny bit of a piss take, but considering that the content within is really good, with solid, like, lyrical themes, really good instrumental work, like there's some amazing melodious dynamics to the instrumental riffs I really enjoyed. Solidly produced too, and again, just Germany, they just know their way around metal. Like, the way that they tackle the genres has always been interesting to me, and I've covered a few bands like that already in this year, so yeah, Praise the Plague are no exception, and you know, I would recommend maybe giving this one a shot. It might be a decent gateway. I'm sorry for that, but yeah, really good. And finally for this episode, we sort of end on a debut with Tombstoner and their debut album, Victims of Vile Torture. Now, Tombstoner are from Staten Island, New York, and this is their first album, and they're sort of more of a death metal vibe, and I'm giving this a B-. This is the lowest grade I'm giving this episode, and it's still within the B, so that means this episode was actually quite good. But there is a lot of good going for it. I really like the instrumental work. I feel like the structuring is pretty good for as long as it lasts, because this isn't the longest album, but they do make a lot of it work. Where it does suffer is a big gripe I have in general with death metal, which is the lyrics. Like, they just take from the bloody, you know, they take from death metal lyrics for dummies, and just decided to smatter a lot of that. So that part doesn't exactly feel original, but there's really good production, really solid performances too. I like the fact that the band consists of 2 sets of brothers, which is nice, and there's only about 4 people, so you know, you got 2 brothers on one side and 2 brothers on the other side. I don't know why I like that dynamic, I just do, and it proves that the bands know how to work with each other as well. And all in all, it is pretty good for how it is. I just wish the lyrics were a little bit better and a little bit less generic, because, you know, stuff about the typical things like suffering and pain and loss, and I'm like, yeah, I get that that's one of the main things of death metal, but does it have to be laid on so thick? Like, god damn. But still, you know, B- isn't a horrible grade. It's the lowest grade in this episode, and it's still a really good one, and this is a debut. They've got time to learn. They just need a slightly better direction and more of a sense of identity, but they've got all the right tools. They just need to use them in the right order. Still, really good first go from them. And that will about do it for this episode of Music of the Week, and that's all 6 albums covered. The albums I would recommend the most are Billie Eilish with Happier Than Ever and Chunk No Captain Chunk with Gone Are the Good Days, but all the albums in this episode are all pretty solid in their own ways. I don't really have a lot else to say. I will most likely see you tomorrow for a Fight of the Night review if there's one to do. And hopefully I'll be able to get the backtracking episode of A Day to Remember written as well, and probably get that in the week. All the parts of the Golden Path tournament are up, and I'm really happy that they're up on my YouTube channel now. And not many other plans besides that, except for the return of PBW versus AVW on Tuesday. I just need to set up the card for that. So, yeah, that'll about do it. That's all I got planned. As always, thank you for watching. You're awesome. Bye-bye.